Welcome to another edition of the CS Podcast, where you can hear interviews with special guests such as
Dale Buchanan, Tom Waddle, Pierre Desir, Brent Berry, Ed Werder,
and many others.
Too big, too strong, too fast, too good.
So be sure to subscribe and tune in to the CS Podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/ChristianRE722.
Did you not get the memo?
That's www.youtube.com/ChristianRE722 for great interviews. Be sure to check out the CS Podcast.
You are ridiculous.
Welcome back to the CS Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Shanafel, and I'm now joined by 2015 NFL Draft prospect, offensive tackle out of Coastal Carolina, Joe Kaleta. I appreciate you taking some time to chat. Joe, what's going on?
Hey, thanks again for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. And we know you just concluded, actually, just graduated at Coastal, so I'm happy to do that. We just concluded with our season with a tough loss with North Dakota. We held with them for a while, the three-time defending national champions. We lost that touchdown. We came up short, but it was a wonderful season. I'm happy what it turned out to be one of the last 8 teams out of 122.
Absolutely. We'll be talking about that and much more. I believe I've seen pictures of your graduation. Congratulations on that. That's definitely big time right there. And let's get right to it, Joe. Actually, before you started playing football at Coastal, you were actually over at Washington State and played for the Cougars for 2 seasons. And then you decided to transfer to Coastal Carolina. Why did you decide to leave Washington State, and what was it about Coastal Carolina that won you over?
Washington State, I signed there in 2010 with the coach, Paul Wolf. He had me and his staff over there, and there was a coach change in 2012. And Mike Leach and their staff took over, and, it just, different stuff happens with the new staff, and it is what it is. And Coastal Carolina heard about me, and I sent tape, and they sent me over for a visit. So as soon as I went over for a visit, I got to meet. They just brought in new staff as well in 2012. So I just got to meet Joe Molier, the head coach. And as soon as I sat down and told me his philosophy about BAM and being a man and what they had, I just wanted to be a part of it. And obviously, it was a great turnout. When I first took a visit there, we were ranked 100th in the country in 2012. And when I left today, we were ranked. Got up to number 1 in the country in 2014.
How awesome is that? Now, what would you say is the biggest difference between playing big-time Pac-12 football with Washington State compared to playing in the Big South Conference at the FCS level with Coastal Carolina?
The big thing is, at Washington State, I was blessed. I was playing against Andrew Lofts, Jake Locker, LaMichael James, going up against guys like that. And you don't see that as much at the FCS. I'm not saying the competition's not as good. And in the capacity of crowd, obviously, Washington State, we had about 35,000, 40,000 at games. And playing against that, just the excitement in fans. There was good excitement at FCS level, but just so much they're into the football. Not as many people know about the FCS level, so there's not so much craziness in the fans, but I enjoyed it, definitely when the competition's there, and, football's football, and I was blessed to be part of both.
You're absolutely right about that. Football is football, no doubt about that. Last season, your first at Coastal, the Chanticleers went 12-3 and met North Dakota State in the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs. Unfortunately, you guys lost that game, and it wasn't too pretty, 48-14. With that said, there's no doubt that there's a lot of good things to take from last season. What were your individual and team expectations for this season, knowing that it'll be your final go-round at the college level?
My expectations were, we had to give it all we got, and this was going to be a year to remember, and it was. Going into the last regular season, we were 11-0. We had a tough loss to Liberty, 15-14 on the last play of the field goal, and we were 1 play away from getting a regular undefeated season. But 11-1 is not too bad,
Mm-hmm.
And so I was very happy with that, and as we expect, we won the conference championship, and we shared that with Liberty, so that was a great achievement. And the expectations, the foundation is at Coastal Carolina is get to the playoffs, not only just to conference. You want to be an elite team, and like Coach Mobley said, he wants us. The expectation is he wants the university and fans and family to be proud, and I think we achieved that.
Chris Schanfeld talking with 2015 NFL draft prospect, offensive lineman out of Coastal Carolina, Joe Kaleta. And believe it or not, Joe, it actually seemed like you guys were somewhat under the radar entering this season, according to some of the people I talked to, because you guys took a big hit to the offense, losing 2 offensive stars in running back Lorenzo Taliaferro and wide receiver Matt Hazel to the NFL draft. But I got to say, guys definitely stepped up big time. I mean, running back D'Angelo Henderson definitely did his thing in the rushing attack with over 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns. Bruce Mapp and John Israel were 2 top targets for quarterback Alex Ross, who I also got to say really stepped his game up as well. Like you said, you guys finished the season 12-2, losing the regular season finale against Liberty 15-14. And then in the playoffs, you guys were able to bounce Richmond. And then last weekend, the Chanticleers traveled to the Fargo Dome to take on the defending champs over the past 3 seasons, the North Dakota State Bison. What was practice like getting ready for that game? I got to think you guys were seeking revenge from the season before.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it was more of a revenge. It was more like this is not going to be like last year. It's going to be more. We're not happy to be here. This is not just to be here. This is to win it. And our plan was to go in there and win it and dominate. As I felt like, I think everyone left it out there on the field. And as you said, yeah, D'Angelo Henderson came in this season, Bruce Mapp. We got a bunch of young guys in there filling the shoes of the NFL players, Matt Hazel and Lorenzo. And I think they did a terrific job. D'Angelo Henderson having a remarkable season. You got to give him a lot of credit with Bruce Mapp and John Israel, wide receiver, as us on the O-line gave him lots of time, and everyone took advantage of what everyone was doing. And I think the top offense, you got to give hats off to the offense coordinator, one of the best out there, Coach Dave Patno. He's one of the best coordinators I've ever been with. The guy's a genius, as you can see. Going to North Dakota, scoring 32 points. I think that was the most points in North Dakota in about 4 to 5 years they've given up. So hats off to him, as he's a remarkable coach.
It definitely was a great game, a game to remember. Honestly, it felt like the FCS championship game. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, for the second straight year, you guys were on the losing side of the scoreboard, and that would ultimately be the final game of your college football career. The game was played not even a week ago. Has that sunk in yet?
Yeah, it's tough. I was sitting there. I was the other day. Graduation, I have great staff here. They were just at all the coaches were at graduation. It was sad to see them. But just that's part of life for Joe. You enjoy it and it goes fast. But it was an honor to play for the coaches and the staff, and I can't wait to see what's in the future.
Beginning your college football career at Washington State and now finishing it at Coastal Carolina, how would you describe your overall college football career?
I think it was pretty remarkable, just to play in the Pac-12, like I was saying, like at Washington State, just to go up against like a guy, number 1 draft pick, Andrew Luck. That's pretty remarkable. I thought, just being blessed to go to Washington State, and I appreciate the staff that gave me a shot there. Paul Wolf and Coach Chris Ball, who's the defense coordinator at Arizona State. He's a great guy, and I just want to thank all the coaches that gave me a shot, and definitely at Coastal Carolina, Joe Mobley, great coach, and what they're doing is phenomenal, and they're just going to keep improving. As like I said, it's like a story in a movie you watch from 100 to getting up to number 1 in about 2.5, 3 years is pretty remarkable what they're doing there, and I can't wait to watch them in the future. He's doing a wonderful job.
Now, Joe, I definitely remember seeing you on the offensive line at Coastal Carolina over these last couple of seasons, but I believe it was last season. You even got to see some snaps in a few games at defensive line. How's that work out?
It works pretty good. I love defense. That's only in high school. I only played defense in prep school, so defense, we needed the body in there, so I really like filling up the gap and blowing it up, and when I got a chance to find the ball and eat them and stay in my gap. In defense, I feel like I got the long arms and reach, push and pull all day,
Sounds good, sounds good. Chris Schanfeld talking to offensive lineman out of Coastal Carolina and 2015 NFL draft prospect Joe Kaleta. Now, whether it was when you were at Washington State or Coastal Carolina, who would you say is the best or most impressive player that you've played against? Anybody specific stick out to you?
Andrew Luck was definitely had to be up there. Like I was saying, the guy we played against him, he threw an interception, and then one game, and we thought he was going to have a bad day. He comes out next drive, 8 for 8, scores on a 7-yard touchdown. It reminded me like a Peyton Manning, like you're watching him on TV. He does a terrible drive, then comes in and just blows up your defense like he was just furious at what he did and can't believe what he did. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Are you surprised with how much success he's had so quickly in his football career in the NFL?
Andrew Luck, I definitely, the guy seems like a mini Manning. He's got that genius mindset of the game, and I'm not surprised that he's having a great career so far. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback at the end of the day.
Mini Manning, I like that. So Andrew Luck, probably the most impressive, best player that you've played against throughout your college football career. Now, if you had to single out one, what's the biggest or most memorable play that you've been a part of throughout these last 4 years?
Biggest play, I would say, is against would have to be against Montana in the negative 22 degrees temperature when we threw a 7-yard pass to take the lead, and it just didn't stop from there. We just gashed them. That was in the 2013 FCS playoffs, and ever since that play, we just took over that game, and I think that laid the foundation at Coastal Carolina University, and ever since then, we never stopped of what happened since then.
You know what? No matter what happened in negative 22 degree weather, that would probably be at the end of my list. Now, Joe, I mentioned that two of your former Coastal Carolina teammates, Lorenzo Taliaferro and Matt Hazel, are now in the NFL. Of course, Washington State is also represented nicely in the NFL. Have you been able to talk to anybody at the next level or anybody who has had experience at the next level? And have they given you any advice as to what to expect during this draft process?
Yeah, actually, I talked to Lorenzo Taliaferro often. He's a good friend of mine, actually. A great guy, and I'm proud of him, what he's doing over there in Baltimore, taking advantage of all his reps, and it's crazy. The guy that just played here not like less than almost a year ago, and you watch him on the NFL, like you're watching the top player scoring touchdowns, and we get a chance, and he just tells me, be hungry, and that's all you can be, and as he was under the radar as well. And he was just hungry, kept working as soon as the season was over, and never quit. And, 4th round pick, it shows up that, the guy never wants to settle, and he's doing great in the NFL. So I get to talk to him, and he just tells me be humble and be ready and just never take a day off. Even if it's a day off, don't take a day off.
Right. And, Lorenzo's probably the top rookie running back in the NFL right now. And I know there was, a few chosen before him, but nobody's had the success that he's had so far in his very young NFL career. Now let's say, Joe, there's an NFL general manager listening to this very interview. Why should he want offensive lineman Joe Kaleta out of Coastal Carolina a part of his team?
Definitely. One of my things is, like they say, you can't teach size, and I don't know, I'm about 320, and that's a good 320. I'm not your average lineman that's 320. I'm in good shape and ready to go, and I don't settle. And to achieve it, you got to believe it. So I'm always going to be ready and ready to prove what I have to achieve.
What do you feel is your biggest strength as an offensive lineman? What do you bring to the table?
I think my arm reach being at 6'8", I think with shooting my arms as quick as I can, that's one of my biggest things. Once my arms can get locked on, as long as they're, it's hard to get out of it.
2015 NFL draft prospect out of Coastal Carolina, Joe Kaleta, joined the CS podcast. And Joe, just a few more questions, then I'll let you go. I really do appreciate your time. Now, of course, seeing some of your buddies in the NFL, I gotta think that's very encouraging. When did you realize that the NFL may not only be a dream, but it could become a reality?
Once I started, actually, like I said, when I was at Washington State, and I was seeing guys I was going up against, and actually a guy from my high school, Will Smith, not Orleans Saints and won the Super Bowl with them. He's from my high school. I felt like if he could do it, why can't I? He did the same thing what I'm doing right now in high school. So since high school, it's always been a dream of following him, of what he's been doing, and he had the same staff as me, and I just felt like if I could work hard, why can't I be like him? And so hopefully it continues, and all I got to do is just keep working hard, and hopefully God takes me where I want to go, and He'll take me where I can hold it. And,
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, just got to keep working.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, you've had an interesting journey to get to where you're at today. Like we said earlier, starting off at Washington State, they made coaching changes. Then you end up at Coastal Carolina. Why do you believe you deserve a shot in the NFL?
I just believe that you can't teach size, and with my fundamentals, with 6'8" and 320 of my feet work and frame, I think that with just working hard and over the years, with no trouble, and the coaches always enjoyed me and what I've done, and always did what I was told, and I'll figure that I'll be able to do that of what I'm told in the future.
Here's a question I like to ask to many of the prospects that I talk to. If you would compare yourself to somebody currently playing in the NFL, who do you think that would be and why?
I feel like on the Atlanta Falcons, the offensive tackle, Jake Matthews, with his body frame, I think I have his body frame. He's about 6'7", and obviously, I'm not up to his feet work yet, but if I could just keep working and getting better, I think I could get on his level with his body mass, and I think his arms are long as mine, and he takes advantage of how his arms are so long and just locks out the player. And once he gets those arms, shorter like me, he gets those arms in, and it's over with the defender, and he just crushes them. And I feel like once I just keep working, I could get to be on his level, hopefully one day.
And last but not least, Joe, I know you were invited to the FCS National Bowl, a college all-star game for some of the small school standouts. I wouldn't say it's unfortunate that you weren't able to play in it because you were busy. The Chanticleers were taking on North Dakota State in the playoffs, but you weren't able to participate in that all-star game. Any chance you have any other all-star game invites?
Right now, yeah, it was an honor to be invited to that. Obviously, it was an honor to be invited to that, but it was also an honor to be in the postseason. So, the same way, it's good to get both. And right now, I'm invited to the Dream Bowl January 19th in Virginia Beach.
Very nice, very nice. I'm wishing you nothing but the best of luck in that. I'm sure it's going to be a great experience. And, Joe, that's all I got for you, man. I really do appreciate your time. It really was great talking to you. Once again, I'm wishing you nothing but the best throughout this process. Is there anything else you got for us before I let you go?
I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate your time, and thank you for everything. And hopefully I'll be talking to you in April when I get selected by somebody, right?
Hey, that sounds like a plan, man. I'll write it down in my calendar right now. Joe, once again, thank you very much, and take care, all right?